This is obviously an old area that's now disused. The campsite we're looking for is back along that way a little way. Now there's no signage that we can see. The signage here is very poor and it's not easy to find. We came out via Lime Lake Road and you get to a T-junction where a sign points right to Lake Norring, and that takes you to the campsite that we used to go to, which is around the other side there somewhere, and we'll get there eventually. This area we've never been to before and we wanted to come down and check it out. It's actually quite nice. Beautiful spot down here by the water. I'm just checking out what the ground is like coming around. There looks like a bit of a ring road coming around here. Fairly flat spot here too, so used to be some sort of boating facility here. You can see there's a bit of a launching ramp, but this looks like it's been disused for a very long time. I'm just going to walk around the end to see what the ground is like there. Very windy, cloudy day today, so not very pleasant. So I don't think we'll be doing much other than just setting up camp and relaxing for the rest of the day. It could even be in for a bit of rain maybe. But yeah, big area down here, but this is not what is marked on Wikicamps as the main campsite. But it's interesting nevertheless. It's just a little bit beyond it if you're coming off Lime Lake Road. And that's where we're parked up, and there's a bit of a track that comes around here. Obviously a few bunnies in the area. Lots of little digs, and can come round, so it's easy enough to turn here, and the ground is hard enough. I don't think we'll sink into that. It seems pretty solid, so we might just set up here. We'll see what we think, but it's an interesting area. This is a place that people say when the other places are chockers, there's nobody up here, so we may go back and look for the other one now and come back here if that one's no good. We'll just go down and see. Well, this is the site we were looking for, and this is apparently a dunny. Just going to go check it out, but it's not a revamped area that people are saying it is. A lot of it looks like it's been here for a long time. Not sure how long the dunny's been here. Maybe the dunny's new. The dunny could be newer. Yeah, but it's rather disgusting looking. It's a long drop and there's no way to clean it. But yeah, maybe the toilet's newer. It's a little bit more protected from the wind here than the other site. The other site was really copping it from the wind. Where I'm standing now is not too bad. That hill just to my right, I think, is protecting us. So in that regard, I suppose it's a little bit better today. I think the other side actually looked nicer. There was a bit more room there. But being that this one has got a dunny, maybe we'll stay here. I'll just have a look around. Okay, looking at what we've got here, what I'd say is they've moved the ski area from where we were just now to this spot. These are definitely newer shelters. Absolutely bloody useless for this wind. They should have put something around the front of it. All the shelters are utterly useless when it comes to a wind like this. If they'd put something around it, it might have been a bit more useful. We'll just wander along and have a look at the different shelters and the different buildings here and see what else is on the site. Well, I suppose these shelters may be of some use in summer when you're trying to get out of this heat and the sun, but certainly not much use from getting away from the wind. The construction of these is very peculiar. One little shelter there and nothing else. So yeah, maybe somebody who knows something about this and how it was constructed or why it was constructed like this can make a comment down below, but just seems very peculiar, especially since the wind seems to be coming from this direction and you don't get any shelter from that at all. But it is a nice level site by the side of the lake. Definitely would be popular in the warmer months. Looks like a couple of rather dilapidated old sheds over there. We'll just go and check those out now and have a look at them. It looks like back in the day these were the toilets. Very run down now, an old water tank on top of that one. So that has just been replaced by the little dunny up the other end. Well, this was some kind of old recreation area that they set up a long time ago, I'd say. The old Metta's stove there. Even an old gas stove, a sink. Maybe it was like a club room for a water ski club. But past its use by date now. Maybe they even kept boats or something in here at one stage. You've got a big door here leading down to the water. Interesting old building, and certainly more windproof than the new ones. That's a pretty old boat ramp, I'd say. So hoping for the wind to settle down a bit. I'm not sure if it's settling or if it's just the hill that's protecting us, but obviously we brought the kayak along on this trip, and it would be really great to get that off there and plop it in the water, have a bit of fun with it. I don't think there's any fish in Lake Norring, so I'm not going to be getting the fishing gear out. It's too salty in these areas, I think, for any redfin or anything like that to exist in there. But yeah, once the wind settles down, we'll get the drone out, we'll get the kayak out, and have a little bit of fun. Nice spot down here, big flat area, ton of room. The other spot we had a look at was a lot more windy. We couldn't get out of the wind at all up there. It was just copping it in the teeth all the time. So once we found this, we decided this would be the better spot to set up. Let's just see if I can get a little bit closer to the water. Have to watch where I'm walking. A nice big fat snake on the road as we were coming in. Actually quite a nice little sandy beach down here too. It's quite pleasant. So the site we usually camp at when we came to Norring was over in that direction. It's almost certainly where all those trees are. That we've been told that that's been upgraded as well. All the facilities were removed there the last time we were there. But there's obviously a building there. I could see it on the camera. I'm not going to try and show it here because it's too wobbly. But there is something over there, so we'll go and check that out and see what's there before we leave Norring. But this site we'd never been to before. Very pleasant. It's obviously been here a very long time. Looking at some of the infrastructure that's around, it's a pretty old sign, and the toilets and that are very, very old. A new one has been built, and if you look at the old boat ramp here, that's been here a fair old while as well, I'd say. But if this wind gives up and the water settles down, it'd be really nice to get the kayak out and bring it down here and have a bit of a paddle around. Really haven't had much of a chance to use that. With a bit of luck, the wind will keep the mosquitoes away, because this is a mosquito hotspot, unfortunately. I'll just have a wander along the beach, see how far it goes. And we camped just up here. Beautiful spot to come and sit and enjoy the view. And of course, this time of year Norring is full of water. This lake can dry out completely and just becomes a big ugly patch of mud. This is one of the many inland lakes that you're allowed to ski at. Now, looking at the map, this is the spot we used to go to. This one over here is where we went with the old yacht club, and this is where we are now. Our closest neighbour is all the way down there. Little pop-top caravan came in early this afternoon. And there I was, thinking there wasn't going to be a nice sunset tonight. Turns out I was wrong. That's quite nice. Good evening, guys. We're out at Lake Norring at the moment, and bit of a chance to sit down and have a bit of a talk about the trip so far and the differences between this sort of camping and what we did on the last trip. Really chalk and cheese. The experience of camping under canvas, a lot of people are going to call that real camping, and I can't say I disagree with them that much. Feels very different to this. Going away in the coaster, this is a 34-year-old vehicle, so you know, there's a few things we have to put up with it, but a very, very how can I put it, pleasurable experience. It's a lot easier than going camping with the trailer and putting out the awnings and the annexes and setting up the kitchen. When you pull up to campsite with this thing, apart from putting up the awning, which is sitting above me here, and opening up the trailer, there's really not that much to do. We shift the camera gear from the back seats to the seats at the front so that we've got room to sit, and we're done. We can sit down and have a drink and do whatever we like at that stage, whereas it does take probably an hour to an hour and a half to really properly set up the gear with the camping trailer. And we find the experience of just being somewhere under canvas is different as well. On the last trip we would be out all evening virtually until it was time to go to bed. With this beastie, it's most of our time is spent inside, to be quite honest, and it's more like living at home. The power system here allows us to run a TV, we run the computer gear, and in some respects it makes my life a lot easier because I'm not getting home and having all the videos and the still shots to sort through and categorize. In the coaster I can do that each day on the road because I've got the time, I've got the power, and I've got the space inside to do the work, so that makes a really big difference to my workload when it comes to making these videos. But even though I suppose they're such different experiences, they're both really good in their own way, and I really wouldn't knock camping in the coaster because it's the luxurious version of camping. Yeah, people call it glamping and laugh at it and all the rest of it, but it's got a lot to be recommended, especially when you're getting a bit older like we are, and things are not as simple and as easy as they used to be when we could camp on the ground and just, you know, chuck down a ground sheet and put a sleeping bag on top of it. Those days are long gone. But in any case, this is our third night of the trip. The first night we were in Boddington at the RV rest area there, where we met some very, very nice people and had a really good chat, and we shared a meal together. Everybody brought their own dish, and we all had a bit of each and had a few drinkies and chatted into the night about our various experiences on the road. That's something I don't get a lot of time to do these days, because obviously when we're looking for somewhere to camp, we're looking for somewhere like this that's quiet, that's easy to film in. I really couldn't have done much filming at the RV rest area in Boddington because of the number of people there, because of the noise, because of what goes on all around you. When you're filming, you want a place that's nice and quiet like this, and you're not getting a lot of distractions, and that's if Dorothy inside's not putting on the water pump as I'm part way through doing a piece to camera. which she just did. But I do miss that. When we were on the road with our old Bedford bus, we used to pull up at campsites, and a lot of evenings were spent talking with other travellers. And out of necessity, when we're doing these videos, we look for places where we're on our own, like we are now. There is one little caravan right down the other end of the campsite, but other than that, we're pretty much alone here. There's a farmhouse up on the hill there, or just on at the bottom of the hill. Obviously people live there, but very, very quiet. As you can hear, there's really nothing going on in the background. And I'm very surprised to find that there are no mosquitoes here at the moment. The last time we came here, we were just about carried away by them. So we were expecting quite a reception from the muzzies, but it's been good. I haven't even seen one, I got to be honest. Back to what we've been doing on the trip. The RV rest area in Boddington was really good, but of course, unless you've got a self-contained vehicle, you can't stop there. You can go into the caravan park. Now the caravan park there is very nice. And what you've got on one side, you have the river going right along the front, the caravan park off to the left. You have a nice big long park, and then at the other end you have the RV rest area, so all situated right by the river. Very, very pretty area. Highly recommended if you want to head out that way. Interesting little town, and go and check out some of the sculptures. I'll whack up a few images here of what we saw. There's a lot of different sculptures around town, and they've spread them out. They used to have them in what they call the sculpture park, but they've moved them out around town to encourage people to wander around, I think. We tried to find as many as we could, but there's quite a few we missed. Yeah, but there's quite a few we missed. And Boddington, yeah, interesting little place. It's not a very big town, but I would certainly recommend heading out to have a good look around there. Best to go out, I guess, early to mid-spring, because the river levels are up then and it's going to be at its prettiest. From there we moved on to Narrogin last night, where we stayed at the RV rest area at what they call the Railway Dam. Now there's two RV rest areas in Narrogin. One of them's up by the railway line, and at that spot they have got a black water dump point and potable water, so you can fill up your water tanks there. That's what we did this morning, but we actually stayed down at the Railway Dam. Very nice spot, and I'll pop up a couple of pictures here. You will have already seen some of it, I guess, on the video, but since I'm talking about it, I'll chuck up a couple of pics as well. That is a 72-hour rest area, I believe, and obviously you have to be self-contained again. A lot of campers are not going to be able to go there, but if you've got an RV that's self-contained, that means a caravan, motorhome that has its own toilet and has its own shower, and you've got to have your own grey water tanks, so all those sites are no water to ground. So unlike here, where it doesn't really matter, it's not one of the stipulations that you can't drop water. At those sites in Narrogin, you have to contain the grey water and dispose of it elsewhere, and all we did was just drop it down the black water dump point, and that solves the problem. So a couple of really good changes to the way things happen with the RVs in Western Australia. A lot of towns are doing this now. In fact, most of the inland towns have got an RV rest area where you can go overnight. And that's a huge change to the way WA was, say, 20 years ago, where there were no camping signs all over the place. You could not camp anywhere. You couldn't even park overnight in a vehicle anywhere, unless it was a caravan park. So it's rather good to see the caravan parks are losing their grip on the shire councils, and now people are able to stay usually 1 to 3 nights for free, and instead of all that money going to the caravan park in town, it can now go to the local businesses, and a lot more people will benefit from it. And I think a lot of little towns are finding out that people do vote with their wallet, and the places that are offering these RV rest areas are the ones that are encouraging more and more visitors to come to them and spend a lot more money in their towns. And that's a good thing. It's a win-win for everybody, I think. We're not really sure whether we're going to move on tomorrow. We might have a rest day tomorrow. We'll have to make up our minds in the morning. I couldn't get the kayak out here today because of the wind. I couldn't put the drone up because of the wind. So hoping tomorrow is going to be a bit calmer. It's certainly calmed down now, and quite a pleasant night. Red sky at night, sailor's delight, I think they say. And we did have a nice red sunset. So we'll see what tomorrow brings, and we may be here one more night, so we'll work that out in the morning. And that's enough of me blathering on for now, so let's get back to the more adventure side of the video. I'll catch you a little bit later. Good morning, guys. We've decided to stay another day at Lake Noring. A very pleasant place to just sit and relax for a day. So won't be a whole lot of filming today, I guess. We'll just be looking for general bird life around the place, and we're sort of hoping the clouds will go away a bit. There's still quite a bit of wind, so still no getting that kayak out, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll just enjoy the day as best we can, sit and look at the water, and this is the view from out of the window. Not too bad, eh? We're planning on having a pork roast tonight, so I don't know if I'll bother to film any of that. I think everybody knows how to cook a pork roast. Maybe I'll just do some B-roll. So that's about it for this morning's brief. Won't be a hell of a lot to do today, and we'll be moving on to Cup Lake tomorrow. So I'll show you that when we get there tomorrow. You might see something else from today, you might not. So I'll say cheers for now anyway.